Hi there, welcome to our channel. I'm Vic,
I'm Nick.
and we're Envy Board Gaming. And today we're looking at Galileo Galilei. This is a game designed by Thomas Halak and published by Pink Troubadour and Capstone Games. It's for 1 to 4 players. Nick is going to go through how you play, and then we're going to give our review.
Hey everyone, welcome to the table. We are set up for a 2-player game of Galileo Galilei. I'm actually going to have 1-player piece out here, so I'm the blue player. So I guess you can call it a 1-player game. But I'm doing 2-player rules. There are no difference really in the player counts, just more cards for more players. So we are set up for a game. We have some items out here that have constellations, some planets or large objects out there. We have goals that are variable every round or every time we play. So we have some out there random, and we have some tracks over here that we're going to move up. And these are also random categories. So this game is going to be played until we run out of cards. When we put that last card out of this deck, when we put the last card of this deck onto the board, that will trigger the last round. We will do one more round after that, and the game will be over. You'll see who has the most points. So let's go over, I think the main thing you want to know is what can you do on your turn. So we have our player board down here. This telescope starts over here. These are areas that you cannot choose actions, so they have the X. You're going to move your telescope between 1 and 3 spaces. And when you do that, you're going to activate both, and it doesn't matter what order. You're going to do both of the actions. So the tile actions, by the way, this is randomized tiles, and everyone has the same ones in their bags. So if I went here, I can do this and then this, or this and then this. So it doesn't matter which order I do them. And I can go up to 3 if I wanted to. But I'm only going to do one action, one of those areas, both actions. All right, so also you have on your turn, aside from doing the actions here, you have actions you can do anytime actions. And that is shown right on your board here. So we have variable player powers. I am, in this example, Galileo himself. So I have this board. This isn't applicable as far as his abilities, but it is a reminder of what you can do with this resource. If you spend a certain amount of these resources, you can do these actions anytime on your turn. Okay, so let's go over some actions. Let's say I chose the one that I'm already on right now. So that is putting a comet out. We have these comets out here. This will give you discounts toward when you do observations. So you're going to put the comet above any of these cards here. Let's just say I went here. All right, so now instead of it costing me perhaps a 7 purple or a 5 blue, it's going to cost me 1 less when I want to do an observation of either a large object or a main object or a constellation. All right, so that's what these do. They help you. Okay, and while I'm there, I might as well say when I do activate that, they flip and they go to the bottom. And then when I activate it here for a 2 discount, this will be a different card, obviously, because I've already used it. So this stays here, but the card doesn't, because I collect these cards if I do the major objects here. This will stay here, and when I use it again, it will go down to the bottom here, where you can access different items. In a 2-player game, you only have, in my example, these options, unless you have a player that has certain options that they can also do that only they can do. They can put that there. So it will just go here and give me whatever the resource is. In this case, 3 books, which we'll explain soon. All right, so that's comets. So let's go over, I'm going to go back one. So this is, you're going to see this Coliseum-looking thing here, this governmental building. You're going to go ahead and move up a track of your choice. There are 2 things to consider mostly when you do this. The main one is going to be, what are you focused on for endgame points? Because that is going to dictate your points for that category. Another thing you can focus on is what is it going to give you immediately? Is there something you're in dire need of right this moment? Because if you move up the track, you do have things that you get immediately when you do that. Okay, so that is that. The other option here was just to get a die. When you get a die, you can pick any of the 3 colors. There's yellow, blue, red. You're going to pick any of those 3 colors, and they're going to be a 1 value dice on your board. All right, that covers those. Now down here, we have a arrow up on a blue dice. So this means all your blue dice, and you can have more than these 3. These is just what we start with. All of your blue dice is going to go up 1 level. All right, so that is moving up that. That's the same as the yellow and the same as the red. All of your red dice go up 1 level. All right, we also have, let's see, we have books that can move up. That's just moving these books over. How many, the number that's on it is how many they move. You can mix and match which one you're going to move. As you cover different things, you get those things. All right, what else we got? We got the observation. Observation that I mentioned, that is going to be doing one of these cards. You can see if you want to do a major object, you're going to go ahead and do a combination of colors. So if you do a major object, you're going to do a combination of colors. If you do a constellation, it has to be that color. So we know we have red, yellow, and blue. There are no orange dice, there are no purple dice, and there are no green dice. Those are combinations. So a yellow blue would be a green, a red yellow would be an orange, and a red blue would be a purple. So you'd have to have both of those dice, and in their sum would have to equal or exceed the amount that's needed shown on the card. So that's doing an observation. If you did the main object here, so Mercury over here, if we did that, it would cost me this. So I have to spend those 2 dice or more, whatever the sum is, for 6. I would get 5 victory points, and I would get an Inquisitor. Those are the things I would get immediately. If I did a constellation instead, I would take one of these markers and cover up the one I did and get these immediately. I can do up to 2 constellations when I do a observation, if I rather. Galileo does have an ability that I could do another additional one, so I could do 3. Also, I believe you can do a combination of observe and do a constellation, which you could not do if you were not Galileo. If I did the main, I would get this card. If I didn't do the constellation, I did the actual main object. I would get this card, and that you can see that I can kind of build out where my books go, so I can cover up more things and move and trigger more things. All right, and then when that is done, this one comes out. All right, that is a big part of the game, doing those. The last thing over here that I'll mention is one that's pre-printed on the board. You get that resource, and you also get an upgrade. So you're going to go ahead and flip any of these, and then go to the yellow side. And we have a handy card that shows what the reverse side of all these are. Let's say I wanted to do that one. So I flip that, and that becomes upgraded, a better value, better action, I should say. And then when it rolls down to this very first available spot. Also, I'll mention when your turn is over and you do one of these, it cycles to the end and pushes everything else up. So remember that. So these are not static. They're always moving. All right, last thing I'll mention, I think, will be the Inquisitors. Inquisitors are down here on your board. They also have a track right here. As you're too far left with your Inquisitors, you're going to start losing points, moving you back on tracks. So you're going to want to move your Inquisitors. So we have some different symbols here. You already know of the one that is a plus. That simply means to get the Inquisitors. That is this red meeple-looking people right here, these Inquisitors. So this one says you're going to get 2 if you do this constellation. And they always start out at the far left. Well, that loses you points as you have if you collect these here and don't move them. Every time you do a move, it's going to be a phase in which you lose points and moves you back on this track. You want to start heading to the right so you're not getting screwed for the end game, as well as getting to the right on your board will help you because it's going to get you points instead of losing you a lot of points. So you want to put together a lot of actions that have that symbol, I'll show you right here, of moving. You don't really just want to move once, especially at the late games, because that triggers it. You're done with your movement and it's going to trigger all this negative stuff. You want to try to package up a bunch of movements so you can start moving things and minimizing what you're going to lose. So that's the Inquisitor. That about covers it. There are variable player powers that you can learn. I just showed you Galileo, but they do have people with various player powers. If you don't want variable player powers, they have a reverse side in which you do not have to include that. But yeah, that is pretty much the game. You're going to go back and forth taking your turn by picking an action and then doing that action, and it goes to the next person. All right, and we're going to go back up top and tell you what we think of the game.
All right, we are back. Thank you so much, Nick, for the wonderful overview of how you played this space exploration observation type of game. We could start off with our first thoughts when we saw the game and how it was set up and the appearance of it.
Okay.
I will remark, even though I wasn't the one who set it up, I could tell it was a pretty simple setup. Like, it doesn't seem that crazy with what you have to put out on the board. You're setting a deck. You're laying out this really long player board, and then each player seems to have their own places to put their little tokens, but it's not too crazy with like multiple things that need to be put together, right?
Yeah, and I feel like it scales fine. The setup scales fine. There's just a few less cards. I think the player boards are super nice. That was the first thing I thought of when I first got a look at the game. I like the player boards a lot. The recessed boards and the tiles that rotate and whatnot, and the randomization of it. It all looked nice on the table to me. Good art on the cards, the main cards with the major objects and the constellations. I like those. So yeah, the box art leaves something to be desired, but I think it's a classic look. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too the colorful dice stood out to me. The wood screen printed wooden pieces that come with the game seem really nice too. The components seem to be a good quality right off the bat, and I like the theme because I enjoy space type of games, and I like the variable player powers that we had right away, where you we randomly assign them. So I don't know if that's the way it goes, but we have played this game at 4 players, and we've also played it at 2. It does play 1 for solo. I will also say that this game belongs to Andrew and Sam, but Andrew lent it to us to play, and then we decided we would do the review for it.
Yeah.
So we can't speak to like the price of it or the value, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that either. I was definitely interested because the designer is a game that same designer of SETI, and we reviewed that very highly. I was in the 9s, and you were probably right in that same range. Can't quite remember what you were, but we both really enjoyed SETI. So we definitely wanted to give this one a go. I have already backed his new one that's on GameFound. That one is Asylum. So I'm interested in that one as well. So I'm a fan right off the bat. So I am biased maybe, but I'm going to give it a fair review of we played this one after SETI. So we're going to go ahead and see what we think of it. So pros and cons. We can start with some pros. I like the action selection. I tend to like action selection. I like that there's 2 things you can do, and you can do both.
Yes.
You don't have to pick one or the other. And one of those might be weaker at a certain point. So you might not want to do that one. You might skip over it sometimes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's fun. I like how the actions rotate to the bottom. You can't keep exploiting it necessarily. They're going to rotate to the bottom. It's going to have 2 spots where you do not access. You cannot access that one. I like the choice of if you want to upgrade any actions or not. I like that choice. And at the beginning, I always do. And at the end, I typically don't, unless there's a goal for it. So I like the fact that there are different goals. I like the fact that the cards out here, I like collecting those cards. That's the main thing at the point of the game to me, is those cards, those major objects, constellations, whichever route you want to take. Some characters have powers that are better for one or the other, or other things. So yeah, there's a lot of choices here. There's a lot of action selection, and that's about it. Sorry, baby crying right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with the action selection. That popped to me right away. I like how you're trying to line up those actions with the top part and the bottom part. You're hoping that you optimize it and that it's going to work out to really have a powerful move that's going to work out well. Sometimes you're going to forego doing that action maybe just yet because you can see that it's going to be made better for you to do a better combo if you just wait it out. It's not a game where like the action, the longer you wait to take it, the better it's going to be, like Arc Nova. It's not like you're waiting to power up that action so much as it's going to get more powerful the longer you wait. But you have that power to choose 1 to 3 that you're going to move to pick the action you're doing. And I do like that a lot of the actions feel nice and snappy. They're quick. Generally, you're not doing like, this action's going to entail all these steps, and you know it, and you have to like organize. Okay, I did this, now I did that. Like generally, but there are times it does trigger off into a series of things. Like if you're going up the track, you choose to do that in the university. You're gonna do that part, and then that might give you another action. So
yeah, some actions are really snappy, and sometimes they chain.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that another great thing about the action selection is that telescope's very attractive. I will say I like the way that you're pushing that along and seeing where you're at. The upgrading tiles, I think you already mentioned that, but I do like upgrading pieces, and the objectives are cool for that too, that you're going for that. Although when we played, I kept forgetting. And then you'd beat me by like 1 turn completing the objectives and not doing it. I like tracks. I'm a big fan of tracks in games. So I like to see those university tiles with the different, and they change, right? They're modular.
Yeah.
So when you're doing setup, you can kind of change that, which is nice. So I like to see that. I like that you're trying to plan your scoring, and it seems like in the game you're trying to be good at a lot of things, but you can't get too lost with like too many different things, because when you do, I mean, I'm not the expert, I only played twice, but it seems like if you go to you overextend yourself and you're doing too many things, you're not going to score that well. So it's good to focus on something, I think.
I think it's good to focus on a couple things, maybe not everything, but a couple things, because you want to move up those tracks, and those probably guide you on what you want to focus on.
And I thought the Inquisitors were really interesting because you want them for some reasons, because it's going to help you, especially with that end game scoring bonus when you move them.
Things,
and you want to get them, you want to move them, you can trade them for dice, and you can do things like that when they're positive Inquisitors. But you also dread them. Like the first time we played, I remember I was just not playing optimally. Every time I would get one and move one, every time it was time to move one, it was a loss of points.
Yeah.
So you really have to think that through. Like, ooh, do I really want to do this? It's going to make me move one of these guys, and am I prepared to do so?
Yeah. Usually you want to move several moves.
Yeah.
Clump them up in one turn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get as docked as much.
Yeah, so I thought that was another interesting piece that they added in. The comets are cool, being able to discount constellations. I do like that you have that mechanism for that discount to come out, and it's towards an objective for the comets being placed out. So I think that's cool. The books was another added nice touch, that once you get those constellations, you're also building on an area that makes that book action more powerful to be able to move the book. So there's a lot going on, actually, in the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The game, I think, another pro is it's not very restrictive, and I think that's good for this game because you can do those anytime actions. Anytime you can move 1 to 3 spots with your action selection, so you're not pinned down to 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You have 3 choices, and that's nice. So those are a couple things that make it so it's not as restrictive and not as punishing. And your actions do feel rewarding. All those actions that Vic mentioned, they do feel rewarding. Moving the book feels rewarding. Moving your Inquisitors feels rewarding. All right, so I think we're good on... I like tracks too, by the way. Vic mentions tracks. I do like tracks in games, so that was a pro right away, moving up tracks. So it gives me some kind of focus, and doing those actions is gratifying, moving up those tracks. Sometimes they give... I think all the time they give you a bonus right when you move up on those tracks. And then on top of that, you're trying to get endgame points in that category. All right. Are we good to go to any like neutrals and negatives?
Yeah, let's do neutrals and negatives.
Okay. I do feel the game is, and the way I'm playing it, is, for me, feeling a little samey. So I feel like after maybe 4 plays or so, I'm probably done. Whereas I'm sure people that go, I always get this comment like, oh, I'm on my 100th play and it's not feeling stale. The way I'm playing it, I feel like I'm going to keep doing the same thing. I feel like I'm always going to go for those major objects. So I feel like all I'm doing is everything else is leading up to me trying to get to a major object. So I'm trying to get those dice combined to get one of those cards. And that's the whole game. The entire time, that's what I'm focused on. Now, if you're willing to focus on other things, I mean, what is there? There's to get that many points, I feel like you have to kind of focus on the constellations and the major objects. I happen to do the major objects because I feel like it's more rewarding for me. But you could just go constellations. You can do a certain number. I'm not sure how many, 8 maybe, of those total. I just like to get the cards, and then it lets you get the more book actions. So those actions, they do feel rewarding, like moving the book and all that. I said it feels rewarding. It just, for me, the game does feel like I'm going to be doing the same thing every time I play it. And the result is all I'm trying to do is get the right combination of the die, add it up to the total that I need to get those cards. And that's what I'm always grinding for. And that might be fun, like a real joy for some people. It does feel a little like it's gonna taper off. Right now, do I enjoy the game? Yes, I enjoy the game. It's just that I can see down the road that maybe it won't get very many plays.
Yeah, I could see what you mean on that. I mean, I did try the minor constellations and going after those minor things on the cards first, but the first time we played, I didn't really get very many of the major constellations. I tried to mix it up and do both, but I didn't do very well that time around. So then the second time we played, I tried to focus on getting those major pieces and then trying to move the book. I hadn't moved my book really at all first time, so I tried to play with some different things. But yeah, I could see what you mean on that. And then for cons,
that was my big con right there. I don't think I have anything else really. I like the variable stuff. So as far as like the what things you're going for, the direction, the variable player powers as well. That's all good. I think overall the game is good. My only negative was I felt like it would grow stale in time.
Yeah, and then I think you also took issue with the Inquisitors knocking off your board.
Yeah, I was a little frustrated with that, but that's not worth mentioning.
Is that a you problem?
Yeah, because I was stacking them.
Yeah.
But I had so many because I was going for bonus points there.
Right.
So I had so many, I had to start stacking them, and then I would hit them with a sleeve, and they're all over, and I got to know where all they belong and stuff. I was getting pretty frustrated with that, but
yeah.
That's okay.
I don't really have any negatives really. I didn't do well both times I played, so I definitely can see where I could improve. Did you think that the variable player powers were balanced? Like I know we only played for a couple of times and we don't know every single one.
Yeah,
I really didn't use my special power the first time we played at all, and then the second time I used it once.
Yeah, hard to say.
Yeah.
I need more plays to see.
Don't rely on us to tell you about those
player powers. No, I don't know.
All right. Should we go to scores?
Sure.
All right. So my score for this game is 8.8.
Wow.
8.8. Yeah.
That's really high.
I like it. It's a nice little Euro game. I like how quick we were able to get to the game. And although Andrew taught us the first time, I felt like it wasn't a constant rule check while we were trying to play it. So I really appreciated that we could remember that from the teaching. I mean, we did make one little mess up a little bit when we played the second time on our own. But aside from that, the iconography seems really clean, and I enjoyed all the stuff to do in the game. And I worry not about the longevity of the game in my case. So that was my score.
All right. Well, I will give it a good score, but not that good. 7.9 for me. I think I do enjoy the game currently. Like I said, I only have one negative, and it was one that was like in the foreseeable future. It would be a negative, I think. So it wasn't even necessarily a definitive negative. I enjoy the game. I enjoy my plays. I'm not terribly eager to play it again. That's the only thing I would say about it. I would certainly do it if somebody wanted to. It's just one that I feel like, oh man, if I keep playing it, I'm probably going to be done. So if somebody wanted to play it again, I would. I'm not eager to. I prefer my taste. I prefer SETI. I like the cards and that. I like that design a little better than this one. But this one is simpler. It is quicker to play. Yeah. And so there's definitely that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please click the thumbs up and let us know in the comments if you played SETI and you've played Galileo Galilei. Which one do you prefer? Same designer. So curious what your thoughts are. And give us a thumbs up. It really helps grow the channel. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.